Welcome to your first notes, physical science students. So today we're going to talk about our first part of answering scientific questions. Please write down the title on the top of your page, asking questions and creating hypotheses. To the right side, underneath the page number 4, you're going to also write down today's date. And then underneath your title, in the spot that says essential question, you're going to put, how do scientists answer questions? All right, don't need to write anything down, just an overview. We have two major things we're going to learn in this topic. The first one, which is what we'll focus on today, is being able to create a hypothesis that answers a scientific question. Next week, we're going to talk more about developing an experiment to test your hypothesis. This is a process. You don't need to write this down. When we think about the scientific process, it helps us make a plan to answer a question in a clear and specific way. So we make observations, we figure out our information, we ask a question, we create a hypothesis, then we test that hypothesis, analyze what we found out, and make a conclusion. Here you need to write down what an observation means. So observation is your first vocabulary word. It is a way to describe something using your 5 senses. So smell, see, touch, taste, and hear. Feel free to pause this video if you need to. The next thing you need to write down is an observation of this situation. So you plug in the toaster, you try to make your toast with your bread, and the toaster doesn't work. So what are some observations you might make? For example, maybe your toaster usually makes a clicking noise when you push the button down, right? But this time it doesn't, and so the toast doesn't stay down. That might be an observation you could write down. Take a second right now to write down an observation. Next, what you'll do is ask a question. So once you know more about something, you're going to ask a scientific question. You're going to write down what is in orange here on this slide. So write down ask a question, and then write down, usually this question will start with who, why, or when. So in this situation of our toaster, the question that we're going to have as our example, which you should write down, please, is why won't my toaster toast? Okay, our next step is to create a hypothesis. So please write down the word hypothesis and that it's an educated guess that answers the question you asked. Some other things you need to know, so please write them down, is that a great hypothesis restates the question. It starts with if. It is testable and measurable. It has a reason. And it can be proven true, partially true, or false. So an example of a hypothesis, and you don't need to write this one down, we'll come back to our example in a minute. If the question was, what will happen to my running speed if I run 4 times a week instead of 3? The hypothesis you might make about that is, if I run 4 times a week instead of 3, I think I will get faster by 20 seconds every mile, which if you like to run, you know that my example here is a very fast. 20 extra seconds every mile is a lot, but maybe that would happen. So if we return to our toaster example, if the question is, why won't my toaster toast? The hypothesis might be, if I try a different outlet, I think my toaster will work because it is new and it was working yesterday. Okay, that is something you need to write down as an example. So what is in the blue box is what you should write down right now. All right. On the bottom of your page is where you're going to put your summary.